Hello everybody, my name is Neil Bakiev and I'm the founder of my website, which is IELTSwheel.com. And today we will be analyzing IELTS Speaking Part 1, and we'll be focusing on one specific topic, which is games. Okay, and I will show you how to respond to each question given on a very professional level, so that you will be able to maximize your IELTS speaking score. And we'll be focusing on vocabulary, grammar, and linking devices at the same time. Okay, so let me show you exactly how to do it. So the first question is, what games are popular in your country? Why? Okay, so you can answer something like, I believe that sporting games are quite popular in New Zealand. Okay, so I don't want to say I think that, I want to say I believe that. It's a very strong word. Okay, now what games? Sporting games. I'm very specific here. Okay, again, I'm using specific vocabulary here, and are quite popular in New Zealand. Okay, in your country. Okay, in New Zealand. Next, for example, while young people like playing, let's say rugby, elderly people enjoy jogging. Okay, now, so here I'm using a linking device. For example, okay, I need to provide one specific example here. Next, here I'm using a complex grammar. I'm using the word while. Why? Because I want to compare young people with elderly people. So I say while young people like playing rugby. Again, it's grammar, so after like use ing always. Like playing, staying, and then after enjoy, again use ing. Okay, good. Next, in addition to this, or we can also say in addition to sports games, a vast number of people are keen on video games, with some gamers participating in online competitions, both nationally and internationally. Cool. Yeah, that's all. So here I'm focusing on the second type of game, because the question is what games, okay, plural, and therefore in addition to, so I'm using a linking device. I'm connecting this idea with the previous idea. Okay, next, a vast number of means a lot of. Okay, so I just don't want to say many or a lot of. I want to say a vast number of people are keen on, which means like, video games. And then here I'm using a very complex grammar, with, and okay, and then plus who plus ing, with some gamers participating in online competitions. And here I'm using, again, complex grammar, both nationally and internationally. And I'm using adverbs here, nationally and internationally. Okay, so that's how you can impress the examiner, using complex vocabulary, grammar, and linking devices. That's good. Now let's just focus on the next question here. The next question is, do you play any games? why or why not. Okay, so I can just say something like, as far as I'm concerned, I do like playing both indoor and outdoor games. Okay, here we go. So the question is, do you play? The examiner wants to know my personal opinion, and therefore I say, as far as I'm concerned, which basically means in my opinion, okay? But here I'm using a complex grammar, so complex vocabulary, so as far as I'm concerned. Then I use complex grammar here, I say, I do like. I do like means I really like. Once again, after like, use ing, I like playing. And then I'm using both and, both A and B. And then what kind of games? Indoor and outdoor games. I'm using a very specific vocabulary here to impress the examiner. Next. Whilst my friends and I play soccer at a local stadium, my family and I play board games such as checkers, and chess. Okay, here we go. So I'm using a complex grammar here. I'm using whilst. You use whilst when you want to compare two different kinds of categories of people. So whilst, and here I'm talking about my friends and I, and later I'm talking about my family and I. So therefore I'm using the word whilst. So whilst my friends and I play soccer at a local stadium, my family and I play board games. So here I'm very specific here, board games. Okay, I want to impress the examiner with different words, and then what kind of words? Checkers, and then chess. That's how I can impress him. Okay, next. Despite the fact that my father has been playing chess far longer than me, I have learned to beat him, and this frustrates him to some extent. Okay, here we go. Now, despite the fact that, again, I'm using a very complex grammar here, I'm using a complex sentence, okay, and that's how I can impress the examiner. Okay, and then I'm using a complex grammar here, has been playing, so we're talking about a long period of time. And then I'm using the present perfect, I have learned, again, to beat him, so a specific vocabulary. Okay, so which means I'm a better player than he is, and this, so that's how I'm trying to link my current idea with the previous one, and this frustrates him to some extent. Frustrates means makes him very unhappy. Again, it's a very specific vocabulary here. To some extent means a little bit, not too much. Good. And also here, as far as I'm concerned, it's vocabulary, but it's also linking device, okay, because I'm connecting this idea with myself, okay. So as you can see, all of these aspects can definitely impress the examiner. Now let's move on. Let's focus on the next question. How do people learn to play games in your country? Okay, there are several ways let's say people learn to play games in my country. Okay, so the question is, how do people learn? And say there are several ways. Okay, so it's a very good linking device. Okay, there are different ways, and then I'll talk about the first way and then the second way. Next, firstly, by engaging in games with parents, children learn ground rules and develop certain skills. Okay, here we go. Firstly, again, it's a very strong linking device. Firstly, secondly. Here I'm using a complex grammar. I'm using by plus ing, by going, by playing, which means when they engage in games with parents, they learn, but I'm using a by plus ing. Okay, children learn ground rules. I'm using complex grammar here, which means main rules. Okay, the main rules, the most important rules, and develop certain skills. I'm using a collocation here, develop certain skills. Next, for example, my parents were playing volleyball with my younger brother and me in our childhood. Okay, so here I'm using a great linking device, for example. Next, my parents were playing. I'm using the past continuous here to impress the examiner, which means that they were playing with us for a while. Okay, and then with my younger brother and me in our childhood. Okay, next. As a result, both of us learned how to pass, set, spike, block, dig, and serve. Okay, so as I'm talking about volleyball here, I'm showing very, very specific vocabulary related with volleyball. And the examiner will definitely understand that I know all of these words and I can get a high score for vocabulary. Okay, next. Apart from this, children learn to play sports in clubs such as football, basketball, and handball clubs. That's it. Apart from this, okay, it's one more great linking device, which basically means in addition to this. Furthermore, children learn to play sports in clubs such as football, basketball, and handball clubs. Okay, that's great. We have answered one more question. And now let's just focus on the last question here very quickly. Do you think it's important for people to play games? Okay. I'm convinced that playing games is crucial both to children and adults. Okay, so here, do you think? I don't want to say I think, I have paraphrased it. I said I'm convinced that. Okay, that playing games is crucial. Here I'm using a complex noun. Playing games, it's all like one phrase and therefore is. Okay, is crucial. Crucial means important. Okay, both to children and adults. I'm using complex grammar. Both and. Both A and B. So remember, crucial to somebody. Next. On the one hand, playing games enables one to develop physically. Okay, so here I'm using contrasting words on the one hand and then on the other hand. Okay, so again, I'm using a great linking device here. Then playing games enables one. Enables one to means allows one to do something. To develop how physically. Okay, I'm using a complex grammar here. It's an adverb because develop how physically. Okay, now next, for example, a swimmer's body moves constantly, and this develops and reinforces muscles. Okay, so one more linking device. For example, next, a swimmer's body moves constantly. It's a very specific word. Okay, so move how constantly. Okay, next, and this, it's a strong linking device. So we are connecting both ideas here. Develops and reinforces muscles. Okay, very good collocation here. Develops and reinforces. Reinforcements makes something even stronger than it is now. Okay, so next, let's move on. On the other hand, some games such as checkers and chess foster, let's say, mental development. Foster mental development. Okay, so here, before I said on the one hand, and now on the other hand. So I'm talking about the second aspect here. Okay, some games such as checkers and chess. Okay, and here, foster mental development. I'm using a complex collocation here. Okay. In this case, foster means develop, improve mental development. Okay, and then as a result, one learns to think strategically, manage risks, and predict an opponent's further moves. So I'm using one more linking device as a result. I'm talking about the result here. One means a person, an individual. Okay, don't say you or I, just use one, which means a person. learns to think how strategically. So I'm using a complex grammar here. Okay, I'm using an adverb here. Okay, so it's a grammar, but at the same time, this whole word is very specific and complex, so it falls into the category of vocabulary. And then manage risks, I'm using a great collocation, and predict an opponent's further moves. All of these words are very advanced, and they can impress the examiner. All right, I hope you have learned how to use complex vocabulary, grammar, and linking devices in your responses. And I hope that all of these specific strategies will help you to maximize your IELTS speaking band. Good luck with your IELTS preparation.